What's up, Average Dad fans? Welcome back to another video. And today, well, not only is it the final video of 2024 from Average Dad, it might be the most fun video I do every year. And it is the dream phone of 2024. Yes, I'll be combining a Frankenstein-like mixture of all the best parts from all the best phones to combine and make one super phone. Let's go. Now, of course, I want to hear your opinions, so leave them all down in the comments below. The easiest way for me to do this, I was going to follow my 5 categories that I use for reviewing, but to be honest, price and build quality isn't really exciting. So I will keep design, cameras and software, and I think we'll add in battery because that's obviously super important, and a couple of other minor elements, including one gimmick. We are allowed one gimmick on our dream phone. So the first thing we have to decide, and I don't think you'll need to be a rocket scientist to decide which one I'll go for, but do you want a candy bar phone or a fold phone? You'll not be surprised to hear I have gone for the fold phone variety. So my dream phone will be based on a fold phone format. Large fold, not flip. So the first decision we have to make, or I had to make, was design. And for me, there was only one winner. If you have been watching my channel this year, you will know that one phone in particular stood out in terms of design. And having this design on a foldable phone might just be the perfect scenario. Yes, it's the Oppo X7 Ultra. I want you to close your eyes and think about this. An Oppo X7 Ultra design with that leather and that stitching and that central huge camera bump, I think would look unbelievable on a foldable phone. Now, of course, there are other phones that deserve honourable mentions here. The OnePlus Open Apex Edition, which we know is last year's Find N3, is a stunning phone. And in fact, I've somehow managed to get it to be my daily driving foldable phone again. I don't know how this keeps sneaking in here, but it does. And then, of course, the recent Huawei Mate X5, which sits upon my display cabinet just now, is a stunning looking design as well. For those that haven't cottoned on, I personally like a vegan leather back compared to your typical glossy glass back phones. However, I do just want to shout out this. The Vivo X200 Pro comes in a lot of colours, but this blue, which I'm rocking as my candy bar daily driver, is, yeah, stunning. So a large foldable phone with that colour wouldn't be too bad either. Now, the next decision I had to make was which camera system I wanted to use. But whether you're building your dream phone or looking for your next phone, you have to prioritise what areas of that phone are most important to you. I've talked about how in the past and forever, my main priority will always be a camera system because I use these phones every day for photos, videos, camera comparisons. I love taking photos and documenting every step of my family's journey. So cameras are super important to me. But maybe they're not as up there for you. So I just wanted to point that out before we talk about the camera setup on my dream phone. It's important you prioritise what you actually want from your next phone. A few honourable mentions. The Oppo X7 Ultra was a fantastic camera system at the start of the year. A quad 50 megapixel setup is just stunning, but it was eclipsed later on in the year by the Vivo X100 Ultra. Only a triple camera setup, but that telephoto lens was so versatile, it made up for the lack of a physical lens and actually introduced about 3 or 4 extra focal lengths on there. Just a stunning camera setup. But the choice I'm making for my reasons, so don't shoot me down, is this. The X200 Pro. The main sensor has got smaller. It's gone from a 1-inch sensor to a 1.2-inch sensor. However, the sensor quality has improved. And I do think, having both phones and doing side by side, I do think the X200 Pro just pips the X100 Ultra in terms of best cameras. And folks, remember, just because I'm building a foldable phone, it doesn't mean I have to stick to foldable phone cameras. If I did have to stick to foldable phone cameras, then the OnePlus Open would also get a mention. But we all know it would be the Vivo X Fold 3 Pro for that. And the next category, displays. Yes, displays, plural. Foldable phones have two, and I get to pick. And I now have a firm choice as to which I would make my dream phone displays. And you can talk all you like about the software issues that this phone has, but there's few areas where you can't deny. Hardware-wise, the cameras, the dimensions, the build quality, the hinge, and the displays. The Huawei Mate X6 has the best displays in terms of quality, resolution, and crease implementation I think I've personally used. Now, this might be a bit of recency bias, but it's my dream phone. Now, to clarify the dimensions, the outer screen is 6.45 inches and the inner screen is 7.95 inches. Ultimately, that to me is the absolute sweet spot. You could argue that the previous X5 at 7.85 inches and inner was maybe a ball hair too small. You could also argue that the Vivo X Fold 3 Pro at 8.03 inches is a ball hair too big. Well, I've gone right in the middle, and for those that don't know the term ball hair, Google it. And as I mentioned, the quality of the resolution. Now, there's a caveat here because it's not the highest and most dense PPI phone here. If I was doing that, I would pick a Quad HD panel like on the Samsung S24 Ultra or on the OnePlus 13. But both of those phones have never made an inner screen for a foldable. And my dream phone has to be phones that actually exist. Does that make sense? If we had a 600 PPI Quad HD or 4K inner screen on a phone right now, that would obviously take the biscuit. But I have to pick from phones that exist, and the inner screens has to be taken from a foldable phone. And for all the foldable phones I've used this year, which is 20 plus, the Huawei Mate X6 has the best inner screen I have used. So I hope you are keeping me updated in the comments. To clarify, we're looking at design, cameras, displays, and now I want to talk battery. Battery is mega important, especially when you're powering a large format foldable phone. And something that hasn't been corrected in 2024 that will be in 2025 is the battery capacities. The reason I bring this up is because we now have candy bar phones that only have one screen coming in with 7,000 milliamp hour batteries. Yes, this Red Magic 10 Pro Plus has a 7,000 milliamp hour battery inside it to power the quite mammoth 6.85 inch screen and the unbelievable performance that the Snapdragon Elite chip gives us. But foldable phones also are getting Snapdragon Elite chips, and they have two screens, yet we still not get to the point where any phone has a 6,000 milliamp hour battery. So, because this phone exists, I would love to put my 7,050 milliamp hour battery from the Red Magic into my dream phone. There you go. Now, honourable mentions in terms of battery, I feel like a bit of a broken record here, but I have to talk about it again. The Vivo X200 Pro. This flagship camera phone has a 6000 milliamp hour battery. For those watching this video on an Oppo X8 Pro, congratulations, you have a 5850 milliamp hour battery. You have a flagship camera phone as well with fantastic displays. Those watching on the Asus ROG, you have a battery capacity that barely reaches the top 5, which is disappointing considering it's a gaming phone, but to be clear, 5800 milliamp hours is still fine, so I've given you an honourable mention. But we're sticking with the Red Magic 10 Pro Plus for battery. And it goes without saying, if I had to pick an SoC for my phone, it would be the Snapdragon Elite chip. Shout out to MediaTek, the Dimensity on the Oppo and on the Vivo is fantastic. No complaints whatsoever. I just feel a bit more at ease with a Snapdragon chip from Qualcomm. So I'll go for the Snapdragon Elite chip. And for the final component of my dream phone, I need to put software skins on it. I need to put some software period in it. So I'm going with Android 15 because, well, I prefer Android to iOS. And no surprises here, I'm going for Vivo's Origin OS software skin. But it's my dream phone and I'll do what I want with it. So I want Vivo's Origin OS, and this is a shout out to Vivo if you're watching. Please make Origin OS global because my dream phone is a global version of Origin OS. I don't really need Android Auto or Wear OS smartwatch compatibility, but if I could get it included for the same price as what I already get my phones for, I'm not going to say no. I'd rather have something I don't need than one day need something I don't have. So I would like a global version of Origin OS. And for those that don't know, Origin OS to me is just the quickest and best looking, most intuitive software skin that Android have currently. Shout out to ColorOS, shout out to stock Google. The Google Pixel 9 Pro XL and 9 Pro and 9 Pro Fold have been a revelation this year in terms of design and software. So big shout out to Google as a whole. But unfortunately, this dream phone includes phones from all markets, and the real competition comes from the Chinese market. And that's an interesting point, actually. When you look at my dream phone, and this was not deliberate for those that think it was, it's not at all. There are 0 elements of my dream phone that use Samsung, Google, or Apple. 0. The only global one that almost got a look in was my OnePlus Open because of that design and the OnePlus 13's display. But other than that, the competition is not from the Western market just now. Hopefully 2025 kind of changes that. I do see a change from Samsung bringing out the special edition. I do see a change from Google bringing out the 9 Pro Fold. But we need more. We need faster charging, better cameras, and cheaper prices. Otherwise, the average dad tech store will just continue to go from strength to strength. And folks, I know that's a good thing. I know that Google, Apple, and Samsung not releasing pure flagship foldables with no competition is a great thing for my store. But for me as a tech head, a passionate phone addict, I want everyone to come out with the best and reduce their prices as much as possible so that everyone can have 1 or even 2 phones that they desire at each time. Now, it would be remiss of me not to mention in my final video of the year that most of the phones I've mentioned, if not all, I believe you can pick up from the Average Dad Tech Store. Again, not deliberate, just I stock them all now. The warehouse, the inventory, all the phones I have access to has got bigger and broader. We have global versions, we have Chinese versions, we have foldables, we have candy bars, we've got tri-foldables in the Mate XT. We've got limited edition phones from Samsung. We've got access to them all. We have now hit, I believe, 2.5-ish, if not more, 1,000 orders in the past 7 months since the store opened. I can't honestly thank you enough. I would like to think, though, that I'm holding up my end of the bargain as well. With the 450 plus 5-star reviews on the website, I think that is true, but I also want to let you know that I appreciate you, hopefully as much as you appreciate what I'm trying to achieve here. 2025 is going to be massive. For me, the store, the channel, everything I have is going into this channel. From reviews to unboxings to first impressions and travel and events. I want to try and be your voice on the ground. An average dad there asking the right questions, giving you reviews and opinions on things that actually matter without being influenced by any other company or sponsors or anything like that. I want to keep this as honest as possible. So if that all sounds great, and if you've enjoyed any of my videos this year at all, please make sure you have hit subscribe. If I could reach 100,000 subscribers by the end of 2025, that would make me a very happy man. I'll be back next year with much more content. Until next year,